She want me to lock it down, but I told her to pass the key. You gotta slow it down, girl, you moving too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asked.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my channel again. I know that it's been a while. It has been a while, but I've been very busy, guys. Work really takes up a lot of my time, and then a girl got to sleep, a girl got to live a life too, so I just have not been able to put anything out. So I figured, why not? Let's do it. Let's get to it. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so when any of my videos come up, you'll be the first to see them. So yes, let's get to it. Our video today is going to be about judgment, how industry is judged, how industry is looked at, how industry is like the bad apple of the bag, according to the real world. Yes, we are judged all the time. I remember when I first started, at first I thought it was like, oh, it was super cool. I didn't think anything about it. So what? I was in the industry. And I remember little by little, I started hearing things about why am I there? Why am I doing that? Why, I could do better than working in industry. Judging just the lifestyle that I have chosen to take. And at that time, I had 2 kids when I entered industry and 5 brothers to look after. So I needed something quick and fast, and that was the only way I thought at that time I was gonna get it, which was true. So yes, I was extremely judged for years, and you know what? I'm still in it. It's been too many years, and when I tell anyone, absolutely anyone, what I do for a living, they're usually speechless for a few minutes, and I just try to let them figure out in their head how they want to judge me at the moment. But at the end of the day, I can only be me, and that's what I do, and that's my passion, and that is a path that I decided to take, and so here I am. So one of the most hurtful judgments, or anyone judging the strip club industry, dancers, waitresses, bottle girls, whatever, is usually comes from family. That's the most hurtful, because you don't expect that. You expect them to understand, especially if they know your situation. You expect them to know that you're doing it for specific reasons and that it is what it is. That doesn't change the person that you are. You're hoping that when you are in the industry, that's how they think, right? But no, it's not usually like that. It's usually the family the first to throw a few jabs, especially at parties or when they see you or they get a chance to talk to you, they right away, question the fact that how am I still in the industry? That my brain, my mind should be completely messed up, that I should not be thinking straight because I live in such a dirty world in the strip club. This is how they think, but it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. I can explain to all the friends and family for the years and over years, it's not like that. And some way or another, they think that I'm fabricating the story, that it is like that it is just about sex, that it is just about, girls, doing crazy things for money. Yeah, it does exist. I'm not gonna lie. It does exist. But I didn't go that route. I strictly went for the money, and that's what I wanted. I wanted my kids to have a really nice lifestyle. I wanted them to have what I didn't have. And I knew that if I didn't take this route, because at that moment, that first week, I made so much money, of course I'm going to go back. My kids were getting absolutely everything that they needed, and my 5 brothers and my mom at that time got what they needed as well. So no, I was not leaving industry, and I didn't care at that moment how I was judged. And I remember going to my kid's grandmother's house, and I think that day I just woke up on a sad side. I was in a really sad situation. I just felt like, things were happening, but things were not happening. I had my 2 kids. I was trying to juggle, their football, basketball. My son loved baseball. My daughter wanted cheerleading. She wanted to do softball. It was just so many things. So I was just trying to, put everything into place so that they can also spend time with me And I thought that was really important. So that's why I probably didn't go right away and choose the daytime life, because I was able to take them to school and pick them up. And I just didn't care at that moment who judged me. But I remember going to my kid's grandmother's house and telling her that I was having a bad day, that maybe I should walk away from industry, from the strip club. And she didn't speak any English. And I remember her telling me for me to shape up and stop the bullshit and the nonsense, that who cares what the world, thinks of me, that only if they knew the type of person that I was, they would regret even having those type of thoughts of me. And she made me feel really good. She made me feel like powerful at the moment. And she said, as long as you're doing it for your kids and you're not out there selling the twat. And I was like, okay. She's like, as long as you're not doing that, she's like, and you're doing everything the right way, she's like, you should have nothing to worry about. They're gonna judge you no matter what you do. Remember, you come from a different type of family, so you are looked at and you will be judged. That's just the way it is. They expect you to fail. And I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as, why can't everyone just understand the reason why I'm doing it and see the other side of good in me? But for some reason, I just became the strip club girl, and I stayed that for years, and I'm still in it, and I still love it just as much as when I first started. So I don't know what to say, guys, but when family judges, it's a really deep stab to the heart. And I know that my dancers feel it. I know that my dancers go through it. Many of them come and, they do it. A lot of them, they're still very young. They just can't go and tell their parents right away. And some do tell their parents, but the majority of them don't, because they know that the industry like that is judged. No matter what anyone says, it is judged. I don't care what anyone says. Industry, strip clubs are judged. And, they expect the worst of the women to come out of a situation or industry like that. And it's not that way. There are really, really great girls that come out of the strip club industry. I think everyone chooses different paths. Some girls choose to fuck up, and some girls choose to really stay steady and focus and grow in it. And that's something that I did. I chose to focus and grow in it. And now I'm able to guide these young ladies when they are judged. And sometimes they're judged by their actual boyfriend. At first, their boyfriend's all about it. Oh yeah, you want to go dance? Yeah, babe, let's go, do it. Because they look at it as a fad, or it's be like a couple days and that's it. But when the girl starts making money, the dancer starts making a lot of money, and the boyfriend usually sees it, it starts causing a little bit of issues, but he's the one that got her in it. Now she can't get out of it. So, he starts judging her. Oh, you want to go ahead, go to the club, you want to go grind on some blah, 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 and it makes her feel like this little. So now she's being judged by someone that she's in love with. So some girls choose to say, screw it, I'm done with him. And some girls, leave the industry and, pursue that love. And sometimes when it doesn't work out, I'll tell you the honest truth, they end up back with me. They come back to audition and try to get back in the club. So sometimes it's successful, sometimes it isn't. Like I said, I don't have control of that. So, but yeah, that's one way. And many, many other ways when you're judged by the outside world. Because usually when you go out, you just can't go around saying, oh, I work at the strip club. I work at the strip club. Immediately, they're going to look at you kind of weird, funny. Some people get really defensive. Like, I don't want her here at the table. I don't want her next to me. She's from a strip club. She needs to go, over there. It has happened, and when that happens, you have to build a really, really tough shell, and unfortunately, not everyone can do that. Some girls fall apart right away. A lot of the girls, have no choice but to have thick skin. But as long as I've been in it, I have no skin. My shit's gone. No skin at all when it comes to the strip club world. But that took a lot of years and some time, and a lot of understanding too, why I'm in it, the love that I feel for it, the passion that I have for the girls. It just all fell into place. So yes, when the loved one judges you, crucial. So yes, my job as a house mom, when any of the girls are being judged and they come to me, I try to give them the best advice as possible. I try to look into the situation and try to find maybe a solution with them. I can't really solve everything for them because they're adults now and they have to learn how to work with themselves to figure out how they're going to navigate in the real world, working in the strip club world at night. So yeah, I can bring a lot of conflict to their hearts. and sometimes even to their soul, believe it or not, and they feel a certain type of way, they would just end up leaving. And there's really not much I can do about that, because sometimes judging or judgment from other people pushes them to feel so little about themselves, even though that world is more of an entertainment world, and they just feel that way. So, I try to help them out. If they need to come back, they come back, and if they don't come back, I absolutely understand. There's like 3,000 other applications wanting to come work, so, and become, dancers. So, I wish them the best, and they kind of go on about their life. But I always tell them that not to let what the outside world thinks of them. There have been many. There was one time I remember I made friends with someone who was not industry at all, and I'm thinking having a normal friend not industry can make things a little easier for me, because that's what I thought. And I didn't know that all along, even though we were talking and getting along, that on the opposite side, she was not really saying nice things about me, and just repeating and saying things that maybe I have told her. And I realized that she wasn't a friend. So it took me a while to catch that on, but when I did, I was able to not fall into that trap anymore with anybody else. I was able to navigate myself in conversations and out of conversations without getting too deep into the strip club or about myself. So you become a little bit more isolated when you know that you're being judged by the world, or judged by family or friends, or even by people you love, or the outside world. You some way isolate yourself in a really, really, small way without even realizing it. You just don't want to hear it. At least I didn't want to hear it. So I'm assuming most of my dancers don't want to hear it either. They want to do it for whatever reason. They're going to do it, and when they're done, they are done. So as for judgment, all I can say is screw it, do you. One of the hardest times that I was judged, that I took really, really, really personal, was when I found out I was pregnant. And I stayed working in the strip club the entire pregnancy. I mean, I don't regret it at all. But I did have a lot of people asking me, and, friends and some family members, that I shouldn't be working at the strip club because my kid was going to be a strip club baby, meaning, working while I'm, born while I'm under the strip club, but it just happened. So yes, I ended up having a strip club baby, and all my kids, I consider them strip club babies because they were taken care of with strip club money, and I don't have any regrets. I said it from the beginning. Everything I did for them, and I will continue, doing for them as long as I live. But now they're adults, so they're able to do for themselves, and I'm very proud and happy for who they turned out to be. So, yeah, strip club babies. I was pregnant in the strip club. It happens. So now that you've heard a couple ways that I've been judged and how I'm able to help the dancers that come into work solve a little bit of their issues when they're being judged, it's a little bit of what I do, because everyone knows that I do a lot more than that. Now I'm going to take you to Christina's house. I'm going to go over there. I have to go talk to her about something, but I'm curious because I want to know if she's been judged, and I want to know in what ways was she judged, and how has it made her stronger, or has it made her weaker, or just a little bit of her story. So stay tuned, guys, because I'm heading out this house and to her house. So I'll post you guys shortly, okay? While in the industry, you heard a little bit about how I've been judged and how I came about it, but I do have a special guest who has also been judged, probably just as I have, and maybe a little bit more or less, I'm not sure. But I can't wait to bring her on, because it can be very interesting to see how she was judged and how she overcame it. So get ready, guys, because Christina is here. Hi, guys. So look who I have here, and we constantly talk at work. When she did work at the club, about how she was judged and how everyone was looking at her. And when I was in the back, I was giving her stories of how I've been judged through the years in industry, and how hard it was to overcome all the things that they do say about girls that work in our type of industry. So through the conversations And through the years, I think that we've communicated, and somehow she's built a really nice thick skin. So now she knows that nothing can get in her way. Right? All right. So I'm going to ask her a few questions, and then we'll go from there. So Christina, couple questions. Question number one. Have you ever faced any type of judgment from people because of the industry that you were working in?
Yes, I definitely faced judgment because of this industry. I feel like every girl in this industry, no matter what, is gonna face some type of judgment, whether you're keeping it like low key or if it's something that you're open about. Obviously, if you're keeping it like under wraps, no one's gonna know. But not only did I not keep it low key, I literally made it public for the entire world. So I feel like I was definitely judged by my family, which I feel like I definitely told you a lot about that. And we had like a lot of talks in the club, and I even cried a few times because I feel like that's what hurts the most, because obviously that's your family and that's blood. I do have a lot of family that to this day, they don't talk to me, they're not in my life, and you know, they see the videos, sometimes they don't watch the whole thing, they just look at the title and they just think, you know, that's so disgusting. And also it's an older generation, so I feel like they're not as open-minded as this like new generation is.
True.
So I feel like definitely a lot of my family judged me. I have like aunts that judged me. I'm not really that close with my family anymore, which kind of is sad for me because I'm like, you know, I'm very like family oriented. But you know, as long as my parents, I still have my parents and like my sister, my brother, and that's like all that really matters. But I do have, you know, some aunts and uncles that judged me, and maybe they don't want me in my life anymore, or in their life anymore, because they think I'm a bad influence maybe on their kids, or that's something that they don't want to be associated with. But I feel like if they would just give it a chance, they wouldn't think like that. Like for example, me and my dad are so close. I'm like daddy's little girl. Growing up, I was so close with him. And when I did enter the industry, and even just when I started getting like plastic surgery and stuff, he hated it. He was like very, I guess, ashamed of me. He said that, what am I supposed to tell people at work now if they ask me, what does your daughter do? Because he had a picture of me on his desk, and said that he was so proud to tell them I went to UIC and that like I had a scholarship. And he's like, now what am I supposed to say when they ask, what does my daughter do? He's like, I don't want to even tell them your name. I remember he actually took my picture off his desk.
Oh, he felt shameful for a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't want them to look me up and then see that and then think a certain type of way about me. So that really hurt me because I was really close with my dad. But we definitely worked through that, and I could see why my dad would think that because I'm his little girl. Obviously, my dad is kind of like me. He doesn't go out, so he doesn't even know the club scene that much. So I feel like just him hearing that his little girl was a stripper, like I know that broke his heart. He won't even say the word to this day. He's like, I won't say the word.
It blew his mind.
word. Yeah, but I feel like he's my dad. At the end of the day, he loves me. He got over it in time. I'm still so close with him, and he's so proud of me now, and he like apologized, and I understand where he's coming from, so I wasn't really mad at him. And yeah, I feel like obviously my mom was always cool with it. Actually, my mom was just like so fine with it. Yeah. Because my grandma was a stripper also. My dad obviously had a harder time because he's a man, I'm his little girl.
Of course.
So yeah, but he came around eventually, and then like I said, I have some family members that to this day, they just don't want anything to do with me because they just think that I'm a bad influence, or
they don't know what they're missing out.
Yeah.
Because you're an amazing young lady.
Yeah. So
amazing
family-wise, that was it. Friend-wise, I don't have that many friends, but I feel like the friends I did have in my life, they weren't really judgmental. They were just very curious. I feel like that's like the first thing, people were so curious. Obviously there was like random girls that I went to high school with that talked shit about me.
Of course.
I remember that girl that we
talked about.
Yeah. And then I had like one girl, she was like trying to expose me on Instagram. Like she kept trying to expose me, and then I ended up just exposing myself. But people are gonna judge you no matter what. And yeah, I feel like now the industry's so different. When I started, there wasn't a lot of stripper vlogs. I feel like I kind of broke that barrier.
You did.
And it showed the industry more. So
you did.
It's more accepting now because everyone does it.
And it's accepting to most of the world, but it's not really accepting to a lot of the family members.
So
and
the
friends.
younger generation, like younger girls, it's accepting, but to their families, to them, it's still like taboo and like
very
still
taboo.
Like very not good. So it just depends. And honestly, sometimes even in relationships, it can be hard to have a relationship because sometimes a guy might
judge you that way.
Judge you thinking right away you're something that you're not. So
yeah, I get that. I can get that. I can see that. Okay, so question number 2, Miss Christina. When you were judged, did it damage you in any way internally in the inside?
I feel like yes and no. So yes, because at the beginning, you know, you have so many people judging you in a way. Like so much of my family was like talking behind my back, or girls talking behind my back, and then people make stuff up. So then they think, oh, you're doing something more than just stripping. Like, oh, is she really just stripping, or is she sleeping with people? And now you're labeled as being a whore, basically.
Yeah.
And then also, I feel like when you're trying to date or talk to guys while being in that industry, they might be cool with it at first, but then once maybe the relationship gets a little further or they start liking you more, then now you're being called a whore. So I feel like
When they don't get their way. But go
yeah,
ahead.
but like I feel like when like I was talking to someone, and when I first started talking to them, obviously I'm open about everything. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, so they know what you're doing. And then once you start dating, at first you're such a hustler and like, go ahead, do it. Now you're a whore, and you're hearing that every single day that you're a whore. You're a whole person. When you have kids, your kids are gonna see this, and they're not gonna love you. So then you start to think like, am I a whore? Am I a bad person? And you know, like you're not a bad person, but everyone's telling you that you're a bad person. So then I almost started to believe for a bit like what I was doing was wrong, and I started to feel ashamed of myself, and I started to feel like, wow, am I this? But I know not even deep down, I know that I'm not, but it's just like when you hear something so much, you start to believe it. And I feel like I, for a little bit, started to think like that I was embarrassed about being in the industry, and like, what did I do? I shouldn't have done this. Was it worth it? I even had a guy tell me like, you made all this money in the industry, but your family doesn't mess with you anymore. Was it worth it? Like, try to make me feel bad, like I did it, like I'm the reason that they don't want to talk to me, or like, I don't know, just, so I feel like for a little bit it did make me feel like I was a bad person, even though I knew I wasn't, because I was being told so much that I was. But I feel like
It almost made you feel like, I'm sure, like not worth it.
yeah, like damn, like is that how everyone views me? Because they'll tell you like everyone just thinks you're a whore because you're a stripper, and then you start to think like, damn, am I because I'm a stripper?
Right.
So I think it does a little bit like affect you in that way, or at least for me it did a little bit.
But thank God you're strong. Okay, so question number 3 from Miss Christina. When you were judged for being in industry, what was your strength to get through it? Because that would be good for people to know if they're also going through something similar.
Honestly, I feel like for me, what my strength was to get through it was my YouTube followers. Honestly, like I had like people that were like close to me, not supporting me, but my followers on YouTube supported me so much. And yeah, I feel like that's what made me keep vlogging. That's what helped me get through it. One, just knowing that I'm not a bad person and I'm not doing anything wrong morally or anything that I'm not comfortable with. And just knowing that so many people supported me, so many girls were interested. And yeah, I honestly feel like just the support that I got on social media, I felt like they were my friends, like they were
basically your family.
Yeah, that's how I felt. So I feel like they kind of gave me the strength. They were telling me like that, like I'm like, they were so inspired by me and saying like I was so strong. So when I wasn't being strong, I was like, no, I have to be strong because I'm perceiving myself as being strong and not caring what anyone thinks. So that kind of made me not let it get to me, because I was like, I'm inspiring these girls, I'm being that for them, so I need to be that for myself also. So definitely you guys are the reason.
Yay. Oh, see?
Yes, and you too. At the club. Every time I'll cry to you. I'll tell you my problem.
Because I knew you were special. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you're going to
I
be
feel
judged for the rest of your life, even if you weren't in industry. Sometimes
you're
you
gonna
do
be
other
judged
things.
regardless,
No matter
yeah.
what. No matter what. If you choose the house, you're judged because you bought the wrong house. If you bought this car, you're judged because you thought you were too much and you bought that car. So there's always some type of judgment, because at the end of the day, we are human. We are human, and it just, for some reason, just creeps up and it just takes over. But I'm a true believer that no one should be judged. Only the man above can judge us. And I'll leave it at that. But I'm so happy that you went through all that. Not that you went through all the judgment, but that you went through all the strength to get through it, and you're able to see on the other side of things. So it really makes a difference. But one of my favorite people right here. And you know what's crazy, Christina? That this whole temptation thing that they accuse us women of constantly goes way back beyond our years. We're talking about 1600 when this chick Medusa was alive, And then it kind of like kept on rolling and rolling and rolling thereon. But I think, and I want you to tell me if it's true, that the real two people responsible for all this temptation that's creeped up in our human bodies, you can blame them. You know who it is? Adam and Eve, because nobody told them to eat that apple.